to avoid the worst experiences would say choose your partnerships wisely and know that you can do this without a partner.
So we're at where Ty shot his 6 or 7 steps right here. He's like here in my garage, and I love these books more than these cars right here, guys. Just know that. Hey guys, so this is Lance from Dallas, Texas. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching these videos, as I know everybody's time is valuable. Hopefully these videos help you out either in life or in business, and if it does, please like and share this video so we can impact other people's lives and inspire them to do more. So that's enough of me talking, guys. Now let's just get to it.
All right, hey guys, so we're outside of Cole's house. Thank you so much for the invite, man.
Yeah, no worries,
and
man.
Congratulations, he spoke at TEDx yesterday, man. So that's pretty hyped about that, man. So Cole, thank you for the invite, man, and or not invite, but thank you for having me over.
Yeah, no, you were invited, so you're welcome. Glad you enjoyed it. Hopefully the barbecue was good.
Yeah, good food and good coffee.
It's Memorial Day weekend, so we just had a little Memorial Day barbecue right now. And he got to swoop in and grab some. What were you eating? Chicken and ribs and.
Yeah, man. Chicken. I was actually eating sausage as well. And
nice.
the thing that looked like brisket. I don't know what to call it, man.
Oh, tri-tip. Yeah.
Tri-tip, man. First time trying it. It's pretty good. So, Cole, kind of give me an update. A lot of people know you're successful, but for those who don't, give them like a little bit of a summary of how you started, like where you started and where you are today.
Yeah. So I was a firefighter. I got in a car accident and. Immediately after the accident was in a wheelchair for a little bit, had to learn how to walk and all that stuff again. And so while I was not sure if I'd ever be healthy enough, oh, by the way, I'm walking again, but for a while never knew how well I would heal. So I actually knew that firefighting might not be a long-term option anymore. So then I had to start a business, and I looked around at what wealthy people do and whether they made their money in real estate or put their money in real estate. One thing that every wealthy person was doing was real estate, right? Yeah. Like Steve Jobs, he made all his money in Apple, but guess what? Bought a ton of real estate. So the one common denominator that all these wealthy people had, regardless of where they made their money, is they were doing real estate. So I said, okay, if I want to be a successful entrepreneur, I should do real estate. I found somebody who was doing very well, had that guy mentor me, copied what successful people do. Fast forward, it's now 12 years, and I've had some pretty big ups, lots of downs. I've started or invested in over 20 companies. And only 4 of them have worked out. Yeah. But the 4 that have worked out have made me so much more money than all the losses that I'm up. So.
Got it.
That's 12 years condensed down into 1 minute.
Shoot, man, that's crazy. I can't even imagine somebody with stress of 20 companies and then just 4 were working out.
Yeah.
So Cole, as every successful person, you're successful right now. So, kind of give everybody an update. Like, how did you, whenever you went through those pitfalls or little failures that we call them, or experiences, how did you overcome that, and how was your mindset on that as well?
So, I mean, without sounding like some meaningless platitude, failure is only failure if you don't learn from it or if you quit, right? Mm-hmm. And so, I mean, 10,000 people have been quoted saying the same thing 10,000 ways. Mm-hmm. So it's almost, has lost its value. When you hear something so many times, it's almost like, oh, I've heard that before. But if you hear it a lot, maybe you should listen to it, right? Maybe you should take it seriously. And so, for me personally, anytime I failed, I would step back and I would ask one of 2 questions. Is it the entire business that was a failure, or did I make a bad decision, right? Yeah. Because sometimes the learning lesson in a failure is that what you're trying to do just isn't going to work. I could try to sell Beanie Babies right now. That fad ended 10 years ago. People made millions of dollars in Beanie Babies. Now nobody cares about them anymore. If you remember even what Beanie Babies are. So I could try to start a Beanie Baby comeback right now. Yeah. It's just not going to work. So in that failure, I'd have to step back and evaluate and decide that it's not that I'm quitting, I'm moving on to the next thing. Quitting would say, okay, Beanie Babies didn't work out, I'm going to go get a job. But knowing the difference between having a good idea or not, and let's just say I'm going to keep going with the Beanie Baby example. If I try to do Beanie Babies right now, lost money and nobody wanted it, failing would be stopping. Learning from that would say, okay, I want to build a business. I want to sell things that people want. Beanie Babies was my first try. It didn't work out. What's my next try? It's just a totally different mindset. The Beanie Baby was what failed, not me as an entrepreneur. Yeah. And so I think that that's how I got over my pitfalls, is if something didn't work, it wasn't about me, it was about that idea, and knowing the difference between that, and then not quitting and just, okay, no more Beanie Babies, let's start selling whatever people want. iPhone cases. All right, cool, that's working. Oh, now it's not working more. Okay, let's get rid of that. And then boom, I found my business. It's cranking, and
awesome.
That's it.
Shoot, it's taking off. Thrive, guys. If you don't even know about it, you need to go there. But so Cole, okay, so you were doing real estate. I'm pretty sure while you were doing real estate, you know, you've had pitfalls there. So let's just say for real estate that you're doing, you're an expert at it. Where was a time or what happened that, you know, things went south and you lost almost everything? And then how did you just get back up to it and just say, you know what, I'm not gonna like get paralyzed over like not going through real estate again? You know, how did you go back in it?
So 2008, the recession came. I was losing everything. I still had a little bit left, and a man approached my dad and I, who's my business partner, and said, "Hey guys, I got an opportunity for you to get rich quick." And I was like, "Well, get rich quick sounds better than ever," so I'm in. And unfortunately, he wasn't the most ethical individual. My dad and I gave him everything we had left, which was about $170,000 to go and buy a big commercial building, which we did. We bought the building. Long story short, the guy was a criminal. He actually had to go to federal prison, and we lost all of our money.
Wow.
So that was a huge failure for me in my real estate career, that we were already in the recession and we were working 7 days a week, 10 to 12 hours a day, and only making maybe 80 to 90% of our bills. So at the end of 30 days, I'd have less money than I started with, yet I worked every day.
Yeah.
And so that's where I was, and that's why I was so willing to give that guy everything I had left, because I was like, I can't do this anymore. And then he went and, you know, I could play the victim card and say, oh, he went and screwed us, but he went and did what he did. We were the idiots that gave him our money. And so that was a huge blow. On top of the fact that we'd be hemorrhaging and losing money, the fact that that guy did a deal that didn't work out and completely cleaned us out, I was on rock bottom. And we had to reevaluate, reinvent ourselves.
Shoot, man, that's crazy. Can't even imagine that. So, on your journey of like, you know, just making money and buying stuff, like what came in your mind that, you know, you're so into like giving back now? Like, what was it like? What phase was it like? Or what did you see? What did you feel? Like that you just started saying, you know what, instead of buying me stuff, let me just, you know, start giving back and impacting lives.
Yeah, so because I had a couple of near-death experiences, I talked about the car accident, because I've almost lost my life, I think I have a stronger sensitivity to time. I think that we all know that we're mortal, and we all know we're going to die someday, and we all hope it's later than sooner, right? But for me, I really personally know what it feels like to lose people. And in the accidents that I almost died in, others didn't survive. And so my being in touch with my mortality, I guess is what you'd call it, has made me want to do more meaningful work in my life. So I know that I could die tomorrow, and if I died tomorrow and all I had done is just worked at a desk for someone else's business my whole life and had nothing to show with it, freaks me out. So that's step one, is that I really want to do as much as I can with my life. Step two of why giving back, you know, that's all that really matters. When I have my funeral someday, when that day comes, you know, no one's going to talk about my cars, no one's going to talk about my house, no one's going to say I had an awesome view. All people are going to talk about is the meaningful impact I made in their lives with the time and resources I had. And so that's it. I believe that time is precious. I really am sensitive to that, and I know that giving back matters. And so as I've grown and matured as not only a human being but as an entrepreneur, I've decided to incorporate giving back as just part of my business model. And so when I have record-breaking quarters and I've made more money than I ever have before, it also means that we're making a bigger difference in someone's life.
Dude, that's awesome. And I'm actually one of those guys going to be jumping on the microphone, guys, just to let you know.
Yes, right on.
So, so you were saying, so like, even though you were working, you were doing real estate and all this stuff, where was it that you felt like you finally tasted a little bit of entrepreneurship? Like, what was it that hit, or what was it that happened that you're like, wow, so this is how it feels to be an entrepreneur?
Yeah, so a long time ago, probably when I was about 7, 8, or 9 years old, my mom's in there, I should grab her and ask her to clarify the dates, but it was Christmas.
Yeah.
And you know, what does an 8-year-old do to buy their family Christmas presents? Mom or dad buys it for you, you know? Yeah. So, you know, you're there with your kid and you're like, okay, I'll buy this and we'll say it's for me, right? But I really wanted to buy my family presents, and so I remember it as clear as day. We were at the Mission Viejo Mall, and there was mistletoe for sale. And I remember like the feeling. I was looking at this mistletoe that they were selling for money, and I was like, dude, this stuff grows for free right next to my house, and they're selling it for money. So I went home that day, I climbed the tree, and I knocked all this mistletoe down, and I tied a little red string around it, and I went door to door and started selling it. 1 bundle of mistletoe for $3, 2 bundles of mistletoe for $5, and I went around my entire cul-de-sac and ended up making like $200, which for like a 9 or 8-year-old or whatever I was an insane amount of money. And I was able to buy my 2 older sisters, mom and dad, presents that Christmas on my own. Nobody had to give me $1. I walked into Target or whatever, and I was like, I want to buy my dad that sweatshirt, and I had the money to do it.
Yeah.
And there was like this feeling of empowerment where it's like, okay, I wanted to buy my family presents, and I figured out a way to make people give me their money.
Yeah.
And now I had complete control to buy anything I wanted for my family. And so that little seed got planted in my little, I don't remember how old I was, 8, 9-year-old heart, and it's grown into what I am today.
Got it.
But that was my first taste, man. It was really cool at that age to be able to conceptualize, okay, I now know how to make money and what to do with it.
Shoot, man, that's crazy. And I've never even heard that story, man. That's
Oh yeah,
pretty cool.
yeah, that one doesn't get told a lot.
Knowing everything you know, like today, right now, you know, through all the success, if you go back to your 20, like when you started real estate or started a
21.
business, what advice would you give yourself that you know now?
So, number one, choose your partnerships wisely. Back to the story of losing 170 grand in that one guy's deal.
Yeah.
And even before that, trust yourself. So one of the reasons I jumped into bad partnerships, that was just the worst story, but I've lost money with bad partnerships before, almost always was about fear. And so I was young, I was 21, and I didn't think anyone in real estate would take me seriously, and I had these insecurities, and so I thought by beginning a business partner, I didn't have to be afraid anymore, right? Like I had less to be afraid of. And so throughout the course of my 12 years of entrepreneurship, whenever I was hasty and didn't do my due diligence on a person and just jumped into business with them because, oh cool, hey, let's do this together, let's be business partners, it's never worked out well. So the advice I would give myself is, number one, believe in yourself, know that you can do this by yourself. You don't need to go get a business partner to share the risk or share the stress, because if there's two of us, you've got like camaraderie, and so it feels less scary. It's not just me and my business. If I'm having a hard day, I can go to you and be like, Jose, what can we do about this? So there is a sense of it being easier with a partner, but I, in my core, was capable of doing it alone. I mean, you're by yourself. You don't have a partner right now. I could have done it by myself. No, my dad's my partner. He's not who I'm talking about. He'll be my partner for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
But who he and I would jump into business with almost burned us. So that's the first thing that came to my mind, because the biggest horror stories I have, and other businesses too, we focused on real estate, but I own other companies. You talked about Thrive. I own other companies that have nothing to do with real estate. And in all of my 12 years, the worst experiences I've had in business was choosing to do business with the wrong person. So the advice I would give myself to avoid those bad examples, and there's a lot of advice I would give, but to avoid the worst experiences would say choose your partnerships wisely and know that you can do this without a partner.
That is true, man. That is true. Well, Cole, thank you so much for the invite.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for the food, the coffee, and everything. And
Sure.
For sure, I'll be seeing you at Thrive again, and probably I'll be seeing you at the $1 billion event as well. I'm actually
Cool. Are you gonna go to $1 billion body?
Yeah.
Cool, man.
So
I'll be there.
thank you so much, guys, for watching, and like, share, and also give thanks to Cole, for actually taking the time to record a video with me, guys. So thanks.
Cool,
so much.
man. Yeah. Peace.
Hey guys, it's Jose Solzano again. Thank you so much for watching the full interview. I hope this video helped you out in any way and gave you some knowledge to do something else in life, or hopefully take you to the next level. And if it did, please like and subscribe so we can keep it posted with all the other videos that we have with successful entrepreneurs. And also please share this so we could impact other people's lives by giving them some free knowledge to also take them to the next level. So thank you so much, guys, and we'll talk soon.